All the stories of the Bible. The land. 121. Ruth. During the time of the judges, there was a great famine in the land. And a man from Bethlehem, the small town in the land of Judah in Israel, he took his wife and his 2 sons and traveled to the foreign territory of Moab. His name was Elimelech, and his wife's name Naomi, and his sons were named Mahlon and Chilion. But Elimelech died and left Naomi to raise her sons alone. And while they were there in that foreign land, they took foreign wives. For they were there for about 10 years. But tragedy struck again, and the young fellow, Mahlon, he died. And not soon after that, Chilion died too. So Naomi and the 2 wives, whose names were Orpah and Ruth, were all alone. In that culture, to be alone was to be destined for poverty. Now one day, Naomi was working out in the fields in Moab, and she heard one of the other Moabite women saying that conditions were much better in Israel. And she thought to herself, God has blessed my people, for if this news is true, I'll be better off going back home. And knowing the journey would be difficult, she brought her daughter-in-laws, and she traveled to the land of Naomi's youth. But when they came to the borders, they saw that indeed things were as they once were, for the famine had completely passed. So Naomi sat down with her daughter-in-laws and spoke directly to them both. She said, "Oh, you have done a very kind thing by staying with your husbands, even after their deaths, and helping this old lady get along. Our God, the one we serve, may he show you special kindness and help you along your way. Now, I release you. May the Lord provide each of you with a new man to provide for you and give you happiness. Go back to the land of your own people. I will be fine now." But both of the women protested. They said, "No, let's go back with you, and we'll live with your people." But Naomi said, "Nonsense! Back home with you. Our young men will not go near you, and do you suppose that I could provide you with more husbands? Huh? Do I have a couple of young boys in my belly? No, children. Even if I did, do you think you would wait for them to grow up before you could marry them? Oh, no, I'm far too old for that. Even if you waited years, good fortune will never come your way. Now get you back home. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. It's a bitter life. I truly wish that things had turned out better." Now both women were filled with grief, and Orpah kissed her dear mother-in-law. But Ruth hugged her and held on tightly and wouldn't let go. Orpah knew Naomi spoke the truth, and she gave one last look, and she left to pack her things to return. And Naomi said, "See, she knows what's good for her. Her own culture, her own gods. Now you two go with her, dear." But Ruth said, "Shh, don't push me to leave any more. Don't tell me to go home. Wherever you go, I will be right there with you. Wherever you stay, I will be there with you. Whoever you dwell with, I will speak their language and dwell with them, and I will do whatever they do. And whatever God you choose to serve, I will follow that God. And when you die, you won't be alone, for there will I be, resting beside you. If I should ever break this promise, then the fates will fall on me and punish me. Your God will punish me if I let anything but death come between us." Now Naomi realized her good advice wasn't going anywhere with Ruth, and so after that, she never said another word about it. And Naomi and Ruth entered the land and pressed on all the way until they made it back to Bethlehem. Now Now when the people in that town heard, it caused quite a stir, and the women said, Naomi? Is it Naomi? And she said, Don't call me Naomi, for that word means pleasant. Call me Mara. Call me bitter, for the Almighty has dealt bitterly with me. I went away full, and the Lord has brought me back empty. Why would you call me Naomi? The Lord has denounced me. He has punished me. Now they arrived right at the beginning of the barley harvest, and Naomi went back to an old piece of land that her husband had once owned, and it was still there. She lived there. She settled down with Ruth. Now Naomi's husband had a distant relative who had a very good reputation. He was a follower of God, and his name was Boaz. And one day Ruth said to Naomi, I'd like to go and glean some of the leftovers near that field of Boaz. I wonder if someone will tolerate me there. And she said, Go on, my daughter. So Ruth went out with some of the gleaners, and she happened to be on the land that actually belonged to Boaz. And she even asked to join in with some of the gleaning crew that was gleaning. And not only that, but Boaz himself was in town and happened to be working in that field that very day. Now he was a good man, and wherever he walked, when he walked by reapers who were on the edge of the field, who were gleaners coming in, he would say, God bless you, and smile. And it made them feel safe. They'd reply, God bless you, and they meant it. Because he was such a giving person, generous in all ways. Now Boaz did one day see Ruth, and he asked one of the men in charge who was there regularly, What's the story of that young lady? I don't recognize her. Oh, her? She's not from around here. She's a Moabite woman who came back to help old Naomi. That's the one who lost her family. Oh, I know who she is. Well, she came and begged to work among our crew. But you wouldn't believe it. She has worked hard all morning and hardly even taken a break. So Boaz went straight to Ruth, and he said, Listen, my daughter, you stay in my field, and you stay among my crew, and they won't bother you. Have you had any trouble? No, because I've told them not to harass you. And also, if you're ever thirsty, go over there. I know it's where the men go, but go. You'll have what you need. And Ruth put her head down, and she said, Sir, why are you being so kind to me? I'm a foreigner. And Boaz said, I know the whole story. I know how you came to care for your mother-in-law and how you left everything you knew and came to live among us. And since you have chosen to come under the protective wings of our Lord, then God give you a full reward. For I know he will. Ruth said, I'm not even a member of your staff, and yet you have encouraged me beyond words with your kindness. And then at lunchtime, Boaz said to Ruth, who was just sitting outside, Come in, have some bread, dip it here in the wine. And she sat with all the other reapers, and she even ate roasted grain, and they gave her as much as she wanted. She was full, and he even gave her a bag of what was left. Now Boaz had also told his men to throw some extra grain on the ground, so that she could pick up a lot. And when Ruth came home that evening, she had a whole ephah and a lot to tell her mother-in-law. Naomi said, Ooh, where have you gleaned today? Whoever's field it was, bless him many times over. And Ruth said, It is that man, his name Boaz. Naomi said, Oh, I know him well. He is in our clan, and he is one of those who is eligible to buy my husband's land, and possibly even restore our family's name. Do you know what I'm talking about? Redemption. "Oh, and something else," said Ruth. "He said, stay close to my young men until they finish." Naomi said, "It is good that you go with this man, daughter. Otherwise, if you go into any other field, you might be assaulted." And all that summer, Ruth kept going to Boaz's land, and every time she was gleaning with the other young women. Now one day Naomi said to Ruth, "Should I not set out to do what is best for you? Now Boaz is coming back to town to winnow the barley. He'll be here tonight. So, dear, wash up and anoint yourself, and choose that nice cloak, your nicest one, and go into the community area, and stand at a distance. Keep your face covered. Don't let anyone know you're there. But watch, see where he sleeps. And when everyone's asleep, go and lie at his feet. And when he sees you, he'll give you some direction." And Ruth said, "I'll do it." Now after Boaz had eaten and drank and was laying down in good spirit, Ruth crept up. She uncovered his feet and laid down beside him. And she stayed there. And it was late in the night, perhaps about midnight, and he moved around, shuffled around, but his foot bumped up against her. And what was it? A woman sitting at his feet. He spoke into the dark. "Who's there?" "I'm Ruth, your servant. Spread your wings over me, for you have redemption powers." He said, "Ruth, oh, bless you truly, for I know the temptation to seek young men, rich or poor alike, and yet you have not run after them. I'll do the best I know to redeem you, for everyone knows that you are a noble woman. Now it's true, I have redemption powers, but I know the whereabouts of your place, and there is a man whose field is closer to yours. If he can absorb you into his family, then it's only proper that he do so. But if he's not willing, I promise I'll do it. Now lie down there, daughter, until early light. Don't try to slip away now." So she stayed there and slipped out early in the morning, before anyone noticed. But Boaz said, "Stop before you go. Hold out your cloak." And inside he placed 6 measures of barley. And she slipped out. When she came back and told Naomi everything, and said, "He even gave me 6 measures of barley, saying, 'Don't go back empty-handed to your mother-in-law.'" "Now wait, daughter," said Naomi. "Wait, and let's see how this turns out, for I have a feeling he won't even rest until he's settled this matter today." Now Boaz was indeed sitting out by the gate and watching people as they came and went. And when he saw a man walking by that was the Redeemer, of which he spoke, he pulled him aside. And he said, "Step aside, my friend. Sit here." For he had arranged to call 10 elders. And when he summoned them quickly, he said, "All of you come, have a seat. Now all of you know that Naomi has returned from Moab, and she owns a piece of land belonging to her husband. I thought I should tell you about it, and say, 'Sir, would you buy this land in the presence of these elders? For if you want it, it is yours. It is your right. And if not, tell me, for I should like to have it. I am the next candidate, you see.' And he said, 'I'll redeem it.' But Boaz said, 'You should know that if you buy the field of Naomi, you also have a responsibility for Ruth, her dependent. She is a widow without a child. Now the owner of that field bears responsibility to continue her lineage.' And the man said, 'Well, I don't suppose I could do it then, for you see there is a risk. It would affect my own lineage. Would you take my right of redemption and do this thing? For I can't redeem her in this way, if that is what it entails.' And then Boaz took off his shoe in the custom of the people in order to sign the transaction. and they traded sandals. And Boaz said to the elders, "Have you all seen what has transpired? That I have assumed the right to purchase Naomi's field and everything that belonged to Abimelech and Chilion and Mahlon. And Ruth I have bought to be my wife, in order that the name of the dead will be restored to this land through our children." And they all said, "We are your witnesses, and may the Lord make this woman like Rachel and Leah, who built the whole house of Israel from one family." Someone said, "Let your home be like our ancestor Perez, who was born to the woman Tamar." And indeed, this blessing was prophetic indeed, for when Boaz married Ruth, they had a son. And the women gathered around old Naomi, who held the baby boy up to her breast, and they said, "Your daughter-in-law, who loves you, is worth more to you than 7 sons. And the son she gave to you will restore your life in such old age." For on the 10th generation from that child, Perez, of which the man had spoke, from Perez to Hezron, to Ram, to Amminadab, to Nahshon, to Salmon, to Boaz, to this child Obed, to his son Jesse, there was another son, whose name was called David.